Before exporting, take a moment to review your timeline, ensure that all your edits, color corrections, and audio adjustments are in place and looking just the way that you want them. Right up here, you see this line. And this line is very important because this line will decide what you will export. So right now, we're exporting half of our project, and I don't want that. I want to export everything. So I go to the end of my project, and you can better do that in the editing page. So let's switch to the editing page. So in the editing page, you have more control over what to export. Right up here, this line needs to be at the end of our project. And I want to have the snap tool enabled. So go to the end of your project, and then you can simply hit an out point, and that creates an out point of your project. And you can do the same at the beginning of your project and hit an end point. So now you have this line from the start of your project to the end of your project. So if we now go to delivery page, we see we deliver the full project. So if you look to the export settings, DaVinci created some default preset, and it already created a preset for YouTube 1080p. The only thing that you need to do is you need to give it a new name and you need to locate it where it needs to end up. Remember that we created a folder, Final Exports, double click on it, and in this folder, I want all my exports to go. Save it, add it to the render queue, and if you hit render, DaVinci Resolve is going to start to export your project. But of course, that's not the only preset DaVinci created. You have a preset for Vimeo, for Twitter, for TikTok. It's pretty damn cool. So if you just start out and you need to have settings for YouTube, I would recommend YouTube default setting that DaVinci already created for you. If you want to dive in a little bit deeper, you can go to custom export. Right here, you need to fill in the name of your project. Then you need to give the location. Then you hit single clip. You go to your video setting. And in here, you can choose the format. I want to export this in MP4. You can choose different settings, but MP4 does the job for me for YouTube. Then you can choose a codec. For YouTube, you can try H.265. It's a really good and clean codec. But if it is too heavy for your machine and you are using the free version of DaVinci Resolve, you probably cannot export in codec H.265. So you need to use codec H.264. Then you need to enable your graphic cards, NVIDIA. If you have one, please enable it because your export will go way faster. Then you just leave this to the default setting. This is very important because remember at the beginning of this course, we set our timeline resolution to 1920 by 1080. And we set our frame rate to 25 frames per second. Check if everything is still correct. Everything is still correct. So let's go on to the quality. I will put it to automatic and then to best. This profile, encoding profile, I set to high. Rate control, it's variable bitrate. I leave this to the default settings. And then I go to advanced setting. And if you have a powerful machine, you can force sizing to the highest quality. So there you have it. These are some basic and good export settings for YouTube. Then you can go to your audio, check if everything is right. I always leave this to default settings, and you can go to File. Right up here, I want to solve a problem because lots of people don't have a really powerful PC or laptop. And if you have some problems exporting your video, I would advise you to put the render speed not to maximum, but to 50. So when you put this render speed to 50 or even lower, you don't need to worry about a lagging PC. Let's go back to video, add to the render queue, and render your project. Once your render is complete, you see completed. You click on your right, you open the file location, and there you have it. There is your YouTube video. Congratulations, you've successfully navigated DaVinci Resolve from editing and basic color correction to the final export. Remember, each project is a learning experience, and the more you create, the more you refine your skills. Happy editing!